Welcome to the Sleepy Archaeologist. Today, we'll take a quiet walk together through the English countryside to a humble farm in the middle of the 12th century. It's a warm summer day, the clouds are high and soft, and the hedgerows are thick with flowers and buzzing bees. The year is around 1150 during the reign of King Stephen, but far from the royal court or castles, life here is quiet, slow, and deeply rooted in the rhythm of the land. You follow a worn footpath, the kind trodden by many bare feet over many seasons. Beneath your boots is the packed dust of countless years. On either side, long grasses sway, and beyond them, open fields stretch out like patchwork, some green with ripening grain, others golden and ready for harvest. The air smells of sun-warmed earth, soft hay, and distant smoke from a hearth fire. The occasional chirp of a songbird or the bleating of a sheep drifts over the wind. And then, just ahead, the farmstead. You see a simple home made of wattle and daub, its walls coated in pale clay, with a thick thatched roof arching downward like a cap drawn low. A single chimney releases a ribbon of gray smoke that curls into the sky. Near the house stands a timber barn, a pig pen fashioned from woven hazel, and a small wooden cart with iron-rimmed wheels resting in the shade. Chickens dart through the grass, pecking at seeds and beetles. There is no fence here, only open space and low stone markers that divide one family's field from the next. Outside the doorway, a man lifts his head. He's the farmer. His hands are browned by the sun, strong and worn from years of plowing and harvest. He wears a simple linen tunic, belted at the waist with a strip of wool and coarse hose tucked into leather shoes. His shoulders are wide, his face weathered, but his expression is calm. His wife works nearby in a small garden plot, kneeling beside rows of peas and onions. She wears a long gown of undyed wool and a linen veil drawn neatly over her hair. Her hands are just as calloused as his, carefully pulling weeds and checking for pests. Two children, barefoot and rosy-cheeked, chase a chicken, giggling before being gently called back to their chores. This family, like many others, are villeins, peasants who work the land in return for a place to live and a share of the harvest. Their lives are hard, but full of purpose, and the evidence of lives like theirs survives in the soil. Spindle whorls, loom weights, and simple iron knives that archaeologists still uncover in ancient hearths and midden heaps. You walk past their small vegetable garden, breathing in the scent of thyme and sage, and come to the edge of the open fields. Here, barley sways in soft waves. Barley was one of the most important crops on a 12th century English farm. Hardy and reliable, it thrived even in poor soil and cool weather. Most often, it was ground into coarse flour for bread, or used to brew ale, which was safer to drink than water and served daily at every meal. In many households, barley was the backbone of both nourishment and comfort, quietly sustaining life season after season. Long, narrow strips of land, part of the open field system, are divided and shared among the villagers. There is no hedge or wall, just trust, and the understanding of who tends which plot. You notice oats in the next field over, and wheat a little beyond that. Rye, too, dark and tall in the summer light. Two oxen, yoked together, pull a wooden plow guided by another villager. The tool bites into the earth, turning it slowly. A flock of crows follows behind, picking at freshly unearthed grubs. This is the cycle of the land, sowing in spring, weeding in early summer, and soon the long days of harvest. And beneath your feet, under centuries of soil, archaeologists have found the faint remains of these very furrows, traces of medieval plow marks, still whispering of lives long past. You wander toward a fenced pasture where sheep graze quietly. Their wool is valuable, sheared and spun into cloth right here on the farm. Near the edge, cattle swish their tails lazily, flicking away flies. An ox lifts its head to stare for a moment, then returns to chewing its cud. And beyond them, you hear the soft snorting of pigs rooting in the bracken by the edge of the woods. Pigs are prized for their ability to find food even in the forest. Acorns, roots, mushrooms. They're kept in pens near the trees, but often wander. You breathe in the scent of animals, hay, and something warm and familiar, dung and earth and sun. At the far end of the farm lies a tiny orchard, just a few gnarled trees, their branches heavy with summer fruit. Small apples, some green and tart, others blush red with sun, dangle above the tall grass. Nearby, dusty pears ripen slowly, their skins mottled and thick. These trees have stood here for generations, planted not in neat rows, but in quiet clusters where the land allows. Their trunks are twisted with age, their bark rough and moss-flecked. A few bees hover lazily, drifting between the late blossoms that still cling to the upper branches. The leaves flutter gently in the breeze, casting speckled shadows on the soft earth below. Fruit trees like these were prized in medieval England, especially on farms with the space and patience to tend them. Apples could be eaten fresh or turned to cider, while pears were often cooked down into thick, sweet pastes called perry, or boiled into preserves. Archaeologists have found fragments of pruning knives, woven baskets, and even ancient seeds at old orchard sites, quiet proof that the work of tending trees was part of the farm's yearly rhythm. The orchard feels timeless, bees still hum, the leaves still rustle, and the smell of ripe fruit lingers in the warm summer air. Beneath the orchard, a narrow trench irrigates a patch of herbs, rosemary, sage, and parsley. A few bees dance in the flowering tops, and the air is thick with the scent of late summer. There's a woven basket leaning against the trunk of a tree, half full of peas and broad beans, freshly picked. Even in its simplicity, the farm is full of life everywhere. Something grows, something feeds, something rests. As the sun begins to fall, the light turns golden. You hear the soft bleating of a lamb returning to its pen, and the low clunk of a wooden pail being filled at the well. Chickens retreat into their coop, and a low whistle from the farmer calls the dog to heel. You pass by the hearth again, where the mother stirs a pot of pottage, barley, onions, herbs, and a hint of pork. The smell wraps around you like a shawl. Inside, a single candle flickers in a clay holder, casting shadows on the wall. Outside, the breeze grows cooler, the shadows stretch long, and the sky is painted pale rose and lavender. You take one last look at the farm. It is quiet now, still, but it is not forgotten. Archaeologists, centuries later, will sift through this soil. They will find bits of broken pottery, the worn teeth of a sheep, a rusted iron blade, and know that here, once, a family lived, worked, laughed, and watched the sun set just as you are now. Thank you for walking with me through this peaceful corner of the 12th century. Until next time, may your mind be still and your daydreams be quiet.